and we now are joined by a conservative British politician by the name of Crispin in the House of Commons Foreign Affairs Committee chairman, and makes the point, I believe, we're looking at Hillary Clinton there, and she's speaking live in Denver, Colorado, as you and I speak to each other, that people like her that were for stay, President Obama will be in that camp, and many of the quote-unquote elites, I'm sure in your country as well, they're, in your mind, hypocrites? Explain for us.
No, they were promoting the interest of their own countries. And with our very close relationship with the United States, it was plainly in the interest of the United States that the United Kingdom should, in a sense, be representing rather similar values to those of the USA inside the European Union. And for many countries, particularly the ones we're kind of culturally close to, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the British were always able, in that sense, to be almost those nations' agents within the EU. Similar attitude to business and entrepreneurship and free trade. Right. And the UK will be there to give those countries a readout on what was happening within the EU. So
it'll hurt us now, us being the United States, to not have Great Britain in the in the EU. Will it do a lot of damage to the United States to not have that voice inside anymore?
No, a lot of damage would be a gross exaggeration. The United States will have to find another way of getting that information and those relationships within the European Union, and no doubt it will be of assistance in terms of the American relationship with both Germany and France. And people will rightly point out that if security policy, for example, that if Berlin and Paris and Brussels are in the same place as Washington, D.C., was put to us as a committee, then people will kind of overfly London. There'll be a slight pivot in the relationship. But what we can be completely confident of is that the interests of the United Kingdom would certainly be covered off if Washington and Berlin and Paris were all in the same place.
Well, let me ask you what we started with for a moment, and ask you about this quote-unquote rebellion among the working class against the elites, because to our own presidential race here in the United States, it's a phenomenon that we've also been watching and wondering how it'll play out, and if it's enough of a phenomenon to carry Donald Trump to being the president, and certainly it helped him in the primaries. A lot of people are angry at the current system. What do you make of that, and what we should learn from what happened in your country?
Well, in the United Kingdom, the issue was really about the voters' interests. And here we have the single market with 500 million people, but a requirement of that is the free movement of labour within the single market. And the imposition of the euro currency has caused serious economic dislocation within the European Union. So you've got very high youth unemployment in places like Spain and Greece and Portugal, and you've got these newly emerging economies into the EU where the standard of living is very much lower than in the United Kingdom, in Romania and Bulgaria and Poland, for example. And you've got highly qualified professional people there, hungry to get on, and they're able to come to the United Kingdom to compete for unskilled and semi-skilled jobs against that part of our labour force. And guess what? If you're the employer, who do you choose? Right. And in the towns of England, we've seen very substantial immigration of that kind. Those towns have seen things change really very fast in the last decade. Right. And those part of the electorate understood that they needed protecting from highly skilled labour coming in to take their semi-skilled and unskilled work.
Sorry.